Friend, Shabbat Shalom to everyone. I am delighted to be able to speak with you tonight, and it's always an honor, and I thank the congregation for entrusting me in sharing these words with you. Elitism offends me. The thought that some people think that they're better than others is really irritating. As Jews, our goal is to create a democratic religious community. Nothing is excluded from anyone. All people can study Torah. Anyone knowledgeable can lead worship. Anyone skilled can read from the Torah scroll. When someone says, "Rabbi, give us a blessing," I'm flattered. But deep in my heart, I'm saddened because that person doesn't fully embrace that in Judaism, we're all God's children. Judaism's rejection of elitism is ancient. Let me give you an example from the Torah. Judaism fears numbering people, counting people. Counting people can be turned into a degrading deed. Each person in Judaism is considered to be an entire world. People can never be reduced to a number. No one should be reduced to a statistic, to their, for example, their Social Security number. However, we know that at times, counting of people becomes a necessity. And here is what our Torah portion says this week about that reality. The Lord said to Moses, "When you take the census of the people of Israel, each of the people who is numbered in the census shall give this," and then, which is a half shekel, a half a coin. Their half shekel is counted as a way of avoiding direct counting of people, which would be seen as dehumanizing. The phrase, "when you take a census, ki tisa et rosh," can also be translated, "when you raise the head of the people of Israel," meaning the census is not taken in order to condense people into mere number, but aims to make each person stand up proudly, to be counted as part of a united community. How do you bring people together? The way to do it is to ask them to give. The Torah is very clear. Giving is about human dignity. Their heads will be raised high in self-respect by the very act of giving. That's what the Torah seems to be saying. Now, this is a tremendous shift in the biblical teaching. Up until now in the Torah, the biblical experience has been about receiving. The liberation from Egypt by God, the splitting of the sea, the Torah being given, water and manna in the wilderness, everything given by God to Israel. Now they are being asked to stand up and be counted as givers. A new term is even introduced, not new, yit new, to give. As a proud and dignified people, they are now expected to give out of their own free will. If they wish to be counted as part of a unified community, they had to learn that this could not be done without giving. And why a half shekel? Each person is incomplete without the other. No matter how perfect one considers himself or herself, without joining with others, he or she can never be complete or whole. Now, what's the point of a nice car if you don't give another person a ride? What's the point of a beautiful home if there are no guests? It's about connection and completing each other. No one's better than another person. We are in this together. Friends, Becky and Nathan and I have only a few more weeks in this sanctuary. And it saddens us. By the beginning of April, we will be vacating the building. And as all of you are aware, we are undertaking this incredible restoration project of the congregation. And I'm not giving a fundraising speech, don't worry, and that's not part of my job description, and after all, it's Shabbat, and that wouldn't be appropriate. But I want to clarify, based on what the Torah teaches us, The meaning of renewing a sanctuary, of renewing a congregation, of doing what we're doing in this incredible undertaking that we are following at the New Reformed Temple. The purpose of the renovation is not to build a Taj Mahal. On one level, the purpose of the project is to make the synagogue a more, how do I put it, a vehicle of our mission. By improving the building, we become part of a holy community where we can gather in prayer and study and social justice and festivals and celebrations. And of course, we want a building that is accessible to people who have various physical disabilities. Any building that excludes anyone is not a holy building. But the temple is not a building. It's about people. We renovate the building so that we have a place to create a vibrant community. Without you and me doing Judaism in it, it has no function. This is what is important for you to hear tonight. This is what I want to share with you. And it just struck me as I was studying and reading over and over this beautiful Torah portion. And I heard it time and again from one of my rabbis, Carol Barnett, who's the co-chair with Tom of raising funds for this project. What she has said time and again is about everyone participating, each according to their ability. Of course, some have more and give more, some have less, but their generosity is no less significant. We read several weeks ago in the Torah that when tabernacle was to be built, God says, "Tell the people to bring me gifts. You shall accept gifts for me from every person whose heart so moves them." Why give? Not to create monuments. It's not about ego. It's not about one-upmanship. The Torah is quite specific, and let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them. It's the act of creating something together. God becoming real because we are experiencing something together. We need a place to do Judaism together, for us, the synagogue. And I'm amazed at this juncture, in this incredible journey that we are together, that so much that we've wanted to achieve, we've already achieved. But our goal is not just to reach some necessary amount, which is so important. The goal is that everyone shares in this wonderful undertaking, and even, I believe, every child in our religious school should contribute in some way. That's what we used to do in the old days in Hebrew school. We used to bring money, and we bought trees to plant in Israel. And if you didn't have the money, they threw you out of class. Those were the good old bad days. This undertaking is our version of this biblical census. Are we part of the community or are we not? It's about joint ownership. The realization that we are only as strong as each of us linked together. It is our demonstration that we can do things together that are sacred and holy because we care, because we love the Jewish people, because we're proud of our heritage, because we are blessed by what God has enabled us to achieve in our lives, and because this temple means something to us. Now, I'm proud to be part of this congregation. At this moment of hope, vision, and renewal, I am thankful for the incredible generosity that has been shown already, especially during this challenging time of the pandemic, and I know the generosity will continue until our noble goals are reached. But more importantly, I'm proud of the values that we live by, of our inclusion, of our egalitarianism, of our embrace of diversity, of our commitment to human dignity, of our kindness, of our respect for each other, of our trust in each other. What we have achieved on so many levels is amazing to me. But what we can achieve in the future really has no limit. Let God bless our holy endeavors together. let us be together in this holy mission of renewing our congregation and building a sanctuary, building a building that is filled with Judaism in the presence of God. Shabbat Shalom.